Flash. Now, of course, let's take a look at the drafting stage. We do have Kalia that is going to be thrown over to the... Oh yeah, let's talk about Z's, guys. This Team Flash hunkered down, brought Z's into the mix.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But I remember their analyst is still...
it is still...
KZP.
Yeah, it's still KZP.
It is still KZP.
It is still KZP.
And you have Lawzy in the background as well, so always helping them with the analyst role as well.
Yeah.
Like secondary analyst.
Yeah.
So, going into the draft, banning out the Kalia and the Phoveus for Team Flash. On the other side, King's Vanguard will ban out the Fanny. Don't want to give it over the hands of Hades. I think Lucas might be an option for Hades as well because he played it in SPS. He played it in a lot of other international tournaments with great success. So last ban over here, I think Zays might not want to let that chip slip through unless it might be a... oh, actually, no.
No, they don't care.
Okay, it's confusing me because that's one ban. Then is it...
Yeah, correct.
Okay, KGV, yeah, the chip. Don't let the chip ban
in fact,
go
it's
through.
more on it's more of King's Vanguard's role to ban the chip actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I gotta have to say though, we do have the Lucas and Suyo and Kimi, yes, that is currently still unbanned. It could go on the either side. So the moment that we have been waiting for might actually be here. Suyo on one side and
Lucas on the other side. Yeah.
It might happen. It might happen. But of course, which one do they prioritize? I would say that Lucas have got a higher priority nowadays.
A lot more priority.
Just as Suyo is more of a very comfortable pick.
Correct.
It's still a very comfy pick.
Yeah, so the Joy is being banned out right there. I think it's sort of like an inkling. They want to open up the Lucas. If Jewel opens the Lucas up, Flash will snap pick the Lucas, and then KGV on the other side might be able to pick up the Suyo for themselves. It is a lot more flexible if you pick up the Lucas, but if KGV doesn't want to deal with that, then it might look really good for Flash because they've trained and they've played the synergy before.
With the final ban, there's actually way too much things that they want to ban. Technically speaking, if we were to look at Lucas and Suyo, they are heroes that can technically be dealt with. Let's not forget about Jusin. Jusin is also another hero that is pretty important.
Your team is
but now that the Harif is out of the picture, that means that is either one of these main heroes. Oh, Kimi!
Kimi will be going in first. Yep.
Okay.
So KGV might pick up the Lucas and the Suyo for themselves, denying away from Hades. Or, on the other hand, pick up the Granger for themselves first and then secure them a good winning lane in the gold lane matchup. You'd want to give both Granger and Kimi into Flash. This might be interesting, though, because the Kimi might not only go into Curtizi's hands, but also Phoenix.
That could be possible, yeah.
Yeah, it's still like a pseudo marksman, even though her title just changed to mage.
Yeah, so we'll see how that's gonna go. But I would definitely say that when it comes down to the EXP role, there will definitely be a lot more variations. So I wouldn't see Lucas and Suyo on the same page nowadays. Definitely the Lucas in the jungle is a lot more of a hot commodity nowadays. So Lucas as well as the Cho being picked up from the side of King's Vanguard. Unfortunately, there is no Kalia, as it's been banned by Flash themselves, so no more of that Kalia versus Cho kind of situation.
Yeah, I know JPL likes to play the Matildas as well, but he's been shifting a lot to the tank setup metas. So
Jawhead, let's not forget about that too.
Looking at the Jawhead, looking at the Gacha once again. I think this one might be opening up that Suyo, but maybe picking up the Granger so that Curtizi, Kimi, Hayabusa. A little bit tricky. Yeah, got it in the Hayabusa.
But it's on the hands of Hades after all. We've seen how strong he is when it comes down to the Hayabusa, so I wouldn't count him out from that just yet. With the Gacha being picked up, Valentina, very good pick, especially since when it comes down to the side of Team Flash, there's always that possibility, as you said. Kimi goes over to the gold lane, and then they will pick up the Valentina for themselves to get a free Lucas.
Yeah.
So there's definitely something that's out of the question. But that can also mean that, okay, maybe not CC anymore. Generally, when Lucas was primarily in the EXP lane, one of the best ways to counter against the Lucas is to pick up a Valentina for yourself, or pick up a CC so that you'll be able to kind of shove that Lucas away. But if the Lucas is going to go over to the jungle, even the CC is not going to do much.
Might be banning out the CC over there because both teams are lacking EXP lanes. So Granger will be banned out because they don't want to deal with both Kimmy and a Granger, giving Liechtenstein a easy lane. I wouldn't say winning lane, but more easy. And I think if my research serves me right, I think Liechtenstein might just pick up the Nathan over there.
Okay.
Again, yeah. Because it looks like a very good front tanky wall. You have a lot of options for the Valentina to get the IMU from Flash. Just the who is the matter. So AOG is one of them. Could be Diablo picking up glue for himself again, or the CC as well. Because I love how Diablo has adapted over the years. Because last time he used to play like, oh, I want to play
Very
damage
aggressive.
XP, I want to play damage, I want to be aggressive, I want to go over the map. And we know him for his Vendetta or his Badangs. And speaking of Badangs, we haven't seen him much at all as well.
You're right. In fact, at one point in time, we had seen the resurgence of Badang.
Yeah.
And he has been...
No Badang, no win. That was like one of the...
That was like a stream A, stream B thing, right?
That was a stream A, stream B thing.
So
in SPS.
Badang was like super good at one stream.
Yeah.
And Badang is just absolute trash on the other stream.
Hey,
Especially if it's a roam Badang, which should not even be a thing.
It should be a thing. It should be a thing. I like it. I like it a lot.
Pui. No. That Badang roam is not a thing. It's so bad.
Oh, man, might as well say Cyclops roam. It's better than Badang, huh?
Just now it was like Pui, right?
Hey, we're on stream, guys. Chat, get this.
I'm glad that we are never seeing Cyclops ever again. There is no.
You don't want to jinx. You don't want to jinx it. You don't want to jinx it.
Does Z7 ever do that? No, right? Yeah, no.
No, it's not Z's.
Z's don't do that. That is a youngin thing.
True. That's a youngin thing. Very youngin thing.
That's a youngin thing.
Huge shout out to youngin. Miss him a lot. It's been a while since we saw the gang again.
That is true. I wonder how he's doing.
Yeah, I know he's quite popular amongst like the community. Right now he's like coaching secondary schools, primary schools, and all that kind of stuff as well. So the glue being banned out alongside the CC, so EXP lanes just thwarted away. Now,
EXP is still not picked up yet, but unfortunately that would mean that King's, I almost say Kingsman, but King's Vanguard, they are the one that gonna have to go for that R4 blind pick, which is gonna be very difficult. They probably and very likely have to go with their goal lane of choice. They gotta have to go with the goal lane of choice. In this case, if it's gonna be Natan, it is gonna be an easy answer for Flash to just pick up that Irithel. So at this point in time, it really just boils down to, okay, which one do I want to counter? Do I want to counter the gold lane or do I want to counter the EXP lane? With the Edith being picked up, it's actually a very safe choice. Super safe choice. So I don't think that there's anything like too out of the question or something that really like brings Edith out of the picture. In fact, this will also mean that Gadukacha might actually be a viable option to go over to the EXP and put in a Jawhead for the roam instead.
Rev, you know Diablo is very versatile, so I don't doubt that at all. EXP, what am I looking at? We could see a resurgence of the, well,
if they
Yuzhong, Famas,
I think those are still
Terizlas.
out. If anything, going back to double revitalize would be the best case.
Yeah, okay.
That will be the other most
there we go.
close kind of situation. But I did not expect the 1-1 though.
Yep.
Not the 1-1.
Interesting. I think it's easier for 1-1 to pop the ultimate as well. So the crossbow tank will come in handy just because there's so many tanks. He just has to watch out for the Cho coming her way or his way. So now, last pick.
Though. Yeah.
True. Free Purify. So then now the Valentina pick becomes utterly just Glorious Pathway on Glorious Pathway. I think that's the only viable option. Unless, no, with Kimmy, you have the Traction Pulse. You steal the Traction Pulse away from Kimmy, you have also like the huge coagulation effect. Huge setup for King's Vanguard.
Yeah, they can make full use of that, but I'm just looking at who are great. Okay, Lucas AoE effect is actually pretty good as well.
Yeah.
The moment that
so if you have Traction Pulse, you have 2 hits on your hand, you have that enhanced first skill. Basically, it's it's all over from there.
Yeah.
So last pick will be the Irithel for Luxenstein. Man, this is going to be a very tough matchup for both sides. Flash giving us something new once again. KGV going back to something more reliable. We're seeing the resurgence of Edith and Valentina once again. We'll see whether Valentina will be able to do what we have in concept, taking away the traction pulse, because that is such a unique and like really disastrously ultimate for your team.
I would say to a certain extent.
Yeah.
As much as I want to see Lucas playing into the Traction Pulse, I still think that the main thing that they want to play into is the Way of Dragon. Considering the fact that Traction Pulse is not that guaranteed, it's not easy to kind of set it up. Way of Dragon is a lot more efficient and a lot more important, considering the fact that if they were to waste an ultimate just to zone someone in, they need that burst damage. And unfortunately, at this point in time, only Lucas will have that kind of burst. No one else.
Yeah. I
Maybe
think it would be
Valentina a
difficult.
bit, yeah.
It would be quite tough for Lucas to actually come in to go straight to the back line to try to target Kimmy away.
Yeah.
Because you have to deal with the 1-1 as well. And
Yes.
1-1 has a very unique build because you don't really need to build the Golden Staff. You have the DHS on hand, you have the Corrosion side, you don't really have boots, so there's one extra item right from the get-go. High movement speed, high wave clear from that late game as well. Keep yourself at bay on this. So we're going into game number 1 of Series 2 as Bao taking a lot of damage right from the get-go from Curtizi. Able to just dash out of the way, but Curtizi has his eyes set on Bao, forced to use the flicker to get out of the way. A useful resource just thrown away.
Now, of course, when it comes down to Vanguard Esports lineup, I will say that yes, the Valentina is 100% forced, just so that they do not get counted for their Lucas pick. So that is actually a very difficult part to play for Vanguard Esports already. And to make things even more difficult, I would say that the first pick onto the Cho kind of put them in a tough spot even more, because if they first pick onto the Cho and then forced pick onto the Valentina, there is no synergy between these two. We don't have the Valentina with that burst damage. So you need a burst damage from someone else, which didn't seem to appear in Vanguard Esports. That's the main problem. As such, I would say that the catch factor from the side of Vanguard Esports is going to be heavily handicapped, whereas NIP Flash, they would not have any problems whatsoever being caught by the Way of Dragon. Maybe in only like very rare situations where the Vanguard Esports 5-man group up, yeah, someone's definitely gonna die.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, but it's a little bit interesting to see how the composition moves around, because now you're an assassin, and assassin farms much faster than a fighter in the jungle, so the Lucas will be a little bit tougher, dealing with 2. Able to pop his Unleash the Beast, but a little bit too late for that one, as JPL is there for backup. So Nandes goes down, NIP Flash takes down First Blood. What's the play for Vanguard Esports? It kind of seems like they're intimidated.
Definitely seem intimidated. They don't have the mid lane priority, which is one of the most important things that they would need. With a Cho plus a Valentina, they are very comical. You're going up against a JPL, we're going up against a Gatokacha, and Gatokacha is super good against very comical heroes. As such, most of the time you'll probably see Gatokacha in the middle lane, just so that middle lane pressure from Vanguard Esports really non-existent.
Dora's pathway already popped up. Hades secures that turtle. Super Ryan caught in crossfire as Nandes trying to get as much down with that ultimate, but not enough.
They can't match
AOG, oh, sucks in 2. That's the traction pulse in question. You've got Hades, you've got the rest of the NIP Goon squad coming in and crashing everyone out.
Now, Vanguard Esports don't even have the opportunity to play their middle lane at all. They understand that NIP Flash have a very strong front line, and they have counters. NIP Flash have counters, just a single guy countering against 2 men in the middle lane, which is super important to clear wave, move off to the other lane, and influence those lanes. And in this case, that's just not possible. EXP and the gold lane for Vanguard Esports now would be in such a tough spot. They lose their entire river control, and especially with HO, you're supposed to get the river control. So most, if not all of this game, Bao is gonna be hunted down like a beast, and he cannot do anything at all.
Luxenstein surviving with a sliver of health, but take a look at the levels that Flash has on top of Vanguard. Hades takes down another kill from Nandes down the mid-side jungle, as Lucas not having good game so far, 0-3-0. Got that killing spree, but might not be enough because he's not going to be able to utilize the killing spree at all. Now, fun fact about Killing Spree, now you don't need to kill an enemy for you to get a full-on regeneration. You just gotta hit someone below 30% health. So I think that is a huge booster for him. On the other hand, though, Flash is power level. Diablo is roughly around 2 levels ahead of Super Ryan from that midpoint mark. 5-0, 4,000 gold lead. If you are Vanguard Esports, what is the play for you?
I think that the main thing is...
Nice little traction pulse. Val trying to run away. Got the Grower's Pathway, just wasting that ultimate in Diablo, setting one for his own, trying to chase him down as NIP Flash just ramping up the momentum, taking down Walker Knackle once again. Have their eyes set on that purple buff. Will steal it away from getting pulled back. Man, the immobilization, the crowd control from Flash is just too much for Vanguard to handle. This is a 5k gold lead, 5 minutes in. And Luxion Stain's next on the chopping block on the bottom side.
Just gonna have to see that Luxion Stain is gonna be the next one going down. And this is just unfortunate point, right? Because you asked me that question. What does Vanguard Esports gotta do now? Right?
You can't hunker down. You can't play safe.
Yeah,
because
so
they're everywhere.
I'm not even gonna lie to anyone. What they gotta do now, think about next game. What do they gotta have to change about their competition, right? Mid lane, you have no game. You cannot wave clear. You cannot do anything. Your EXP, you are so slow. In the gold lane, you are playing the late game. Your jungle plays Killing Spree.
4-on-2. They finally take down JPL. The traction pulse won't hit its mark as Vanguard Esports just take one consolation prize. Looking like they want to go for more though. Hades picks one off. You're going to shadow kill directly onto this Valentina. Nothing that Walker could do to walk away. And like you said, Abstract, right now Vanguard Esports way too far behind. They might be able to look for the second game, but they're sure as hell fighting for this one.
I mean, they gotta have to fight. They gotta have to show their sportsmanship and just play all the way through, right? It's currently 6 minutes into the game, and if NIP Flash really want to end this game fast enough, they don't even have to take this upcoming turn.
Ooh, nice little Purify from Vanix with the Way of the Dragon. Luxion Stain's gonna be targeted on. The AOG lands, blocking the side of path from Val. Diablo will take him down from the bottom side as well. Nandez just taking a little bit too much. Unleash the Beast is not enough for him to stay alive as Flash is pummeling and crashing through all of the turrets on that top side. JPL, they're just the body block the rest of Vanguard from coming out. Call it intimidation, call it fear. Vanguard Esports, it's just very difficult to watch.
There is no high ground on the side of Vanguard Esports. No way that they are able to touch anyone. Only Luxion Stain is realistically be able to do anything at all. But in the meantime, middle lane fight is going on.
There's a lot of damage getting soaked up by Flash. They don't want to fight this underneath the turret, but all 5 members are there. They do have that damage to take them out. They just need to find the right angle as Hades tries to take a little bit of a gander onto Vanguard Esports, but no, he'll go straight for that turtle.
Oh, they actually want to go for the turtle. Technically speaking, if you
they could wait for the Lord, Madara.
Yeah, they could wait for the Lord, technically, because they are so far ahead. They technically don't even need the economy or that lead from the turtle. What they can do is just leave the turtle as it is and summon the Lord earlier.
That's a lot of damage that Diablo, just this tanky horse centaur thing, dealing a lot. And Super Ryan, Crossbow Tang will not be able to finish the job, able to pop that Primal Wrath. Just in the nick of time though, AOG out to safety. They set their eyes, their focus onto the turrets. So objective gaming is the name of the game for Flash.
And just like that, just like Vanguard Esports wants to go for something on Diablo, only to be baited!
Nice little shadow kill by Hades onto the back line. Walker Knackle just running away, won't be able to hit his mark and take him down, but the damage is done. Flash is so up ahead. They're 12k gold ahead of Vanguard Esports as Hades just showing us that style coming through.
Bottom lane, T3 already destroyed. In fact, they're looking at the middle lane T3 to destroy as well, since there's no more of that holy defense. As such, Vanguard Esports, as much as possible, they will want to keep the holy defense up in the top lane intact for as long as possible, because the moment that they lose the holy defense, that is a full wave clear already. NIP Flash, they will come in from every single angle, and Vanguard Esports wouldn't even be able to do anything. Unfortunately, that's the holy defense gone, and because they don't have a high ground, they can't clear that.
Vanguard Esports way too far behind. Luxion Stain dealing nothing at all to Hades. Just a trickle. You got the shadow again, trying to bounce away. Bao popped into Jit Kundo, gets away to safety with a pixel. as Vanguard Esports dealing so much damage. Hades with that pounce there. AOG lands onto one. Here's the crossbow tank from Vanix, taking 2 out. They've got the minions, they've got the base. Fernandez staying strong with Unleash the Beast. They lost 3 now, but NIP Flash, they still want to end this right here and right now. The minions are just pumping through that top side. Man, it looks like it's it. Laura's pathway already laid down. Vanix taking a little bit too much damage from Luxion Stain. Doesn't want to end the game as of now, or he can't. Can't do it alone.
What the hell happened? He should have been able to end that game.
Now, Hades was a little bit too trigger happy, went onto the backside. He's got the Sky Piercer already built up as well. Dealing with a lot of damage with the Shurikens just from that one burst, but I think he was locked out by Super Ryan, so good call from there. Vanix just dancing around Bao. Unable to just get any hits whatsoever onto Vanix. It's just healing everything back up. So the power of the double marksman is coming back into action, man.
Boy, oh boy. But now with the Lord currently available for the picking, NIP Flash now takes down the Lord and will be looking at an eventual, well, pounce over to Vanguard Esports' final case. And just like that, we've got a middle lane already moving in, and unfortunately none of the members from the side of Vanguard Esports is ready. They come in from the northern side, the top side, and now this is probably the end. We're looking at about 28,000 gold from the side of Vanguard Esports, while in the meantime, NIP Flash with a 10,000 gold lead. With a lot of items that is missing from the side of Vanguard Esports, there's not much that they can do.
Hades wanted to pull the trigger, unable to hit his mark onto Nandes, but he's able to just walk back, hit the turret recovery, the fraction pulse laid down. You got the Dora's pathway as well. Cortese takes down one AOG from themselves. Walker Nagel committing himself way too much, way too early, taking down all before taking down the throne. That's a maniac that I hear as NIP Flash just secures game number 1 with a dominant victory.
Yep, that is pretty much understandable since I think the first 5 minutes, we could more or less be able to tell, okay, this is not going to work out great for King's Vanguard. That's why think about the next game. Identify, at least for the analyst as well as a coach, really identify what exactly is the main problem. So the main problem really just boils down to middle lane, countered by a single Gato. They are way too committal. And the moment that they pull out, they go in to try to wave clear, yeah, they're taunted, takes too much damage, goodbye to Cho, go back home.
Yeah.
Valentina would be the same. I think that if they ever want to pick up a Lucas, don't force pick the Valentina to deny the opponents. Ban it instead. Because the last thing that the opponents would do, and the worst thing that they will do, is they ban the Lucas.
You're right. You don't have that range to deal with or counter the Kimi. I think it is one of those heroes that is coming up right now in this meta to be pretty much untouchable. Remember the Jusin meta where everyone was just picking Jusin, no Jusin, no win?
Now it's Kimi.
Now it's Kimi.
Okay.
Now Kimi is taking that spot. You have an Immobilize with your second skill. You have an Escape Mechanism, your first skill. You also have the Traction Pulse, which is an engage tool and sets up for you. I think the issue with the Valentina, or Walker Necro per se, is basically not being able to take away the crucial ultimates that Cortese has. Now, building Glowing Wand, Sky Piercer, and the Genius Wand alone is more than enough damage for the rest of the team. So now you notice that Cortese doesn't even build the Berserker's Fury because it's mostly just pure and unhinged magical damage.
Right. At one point in time, I would have assumed that, you know, if you are in a tough game, it's completely fine to just go Blood Wings first. Because you're able to clear wave pretty fast since now your, I guess, energy transfusion, you kind of, it's a straight line now. It no longer gets stopped, right? So having the wave clear capability plus the movement speed that Blood Wings gives you, and of course to top it up with that defensive shields that you get, it actually puts Kimi in such a crazy spot whereby she can be all around the place and not being afraid of a lot of things.
Yeah. I think the issue also is Lucas is a very slow jungler. I know he seems viable, but it's much, much slower than a Suyo, than a Hayabusa, and you're basically lagging behind. Hayabusa is one camp faster than Lucas at any one point of time in the early game before your level 4 hits. Lucas is also very reliant on the ultimate. If you don't have Unleash the Beast, you are basically a sitting duck. You can't rely on your skills to heal everything up because your main core advantage is that you have that Unleash the Beast. You have that extra resilience, that ode of protection in your beast form. I almost say primal form. But also, The Edith, it just isn't working out.
Yep.
With an Edith, with a Primal Wrath, you want to be able to soak up that damage before turning into Primal Wrath and then dishing everything back out. It's sort of like that counter-attack mechanic that Fredrin has, that Edith also has, but it's just not enough. Look at how much damage to heroes that they are doing. It's just 5,000. Super Ryan is basically a support Edith.
Yep. So there's also one thing that I realized from the side of Nandes is that he picked up the killing spree, and I will say that in certain situations, killing spree is actually pretty okay. Just that you kind of double down onto really wanting that early game advantage. You want to kill, right? And unfortunately, his first item does not suit this playstyle, and that is the War Axe. War Axe is more of a hybrid item. You get lifesteal, you get defenses, you get some damage, some of each. It's a jack of all trades. But with that emblem, you want all in. It's either you just go straight in to go for a Hunter Strike because you get the mobility. Which is something that a Lucas would absolutely need. Otherwise, it's completely fine to pick up to half build the Hunter Strike and then go straight for the next offensive.